I'm so excited for you guys to get to know me a little bit more and get to learn some more things about some of my favorite people in my life, industry insiders, because there is always more to the story. I'm Rocsi Diaz, and welcome to More to the Story. Dating outside of the industry is different, but then people get stuck dating inside the industry because you know that you're comfortable enough. That person understands your schedule, understands your lifestyle. At least you would think they would until egos start getting involved and stuff like that. And then you get hit with that situation.
And if I was the whole time, I'd be like, tell me more.
Don't miss it. There's nothing to miss right there. So I feel you on that. Well, I know we're running out of time. I wanted to get into our heydays, but I think I'm gonna have to save this one for a part 2. But before you go, I'm gonna do a rapid fire round of questions for you. You can answer in one word or several, however you want to. But for you, Necole, one thing you hate. Nothing?
I guess I won't say I hate, but I dislike what they call them bro podcasts. And like there's a difference because there are the bro podcasts and they're elevating young men and they're having real I think they're called nice and neat podcasts. I love those. But the ones that are super toxic and cause these gender wars amongst men and women, I cannot.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it right there. Worst city to date in?
I know people want me to say Atlanta, baby. My dating life in Atlanta been amazing. Okay. And I've lived in quite a few cities.
Yeah, I've
lived in many cities.
For myself too.
My dating life in Atlanta, I feel was the best out of all cities that I've dated in. But I date differently than I used to too. Worst city, LA. Worst city for a Black woman. How about that?
Okay. I would say LA in general.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I had to import from New York to get him to move to LA.
It's every friend that lives in LA is just like.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. You don't know anybody's agenda.
Yeah.
What they're after. And even then when you're in a relationship, you got to worry about them leaving you for something, which happened, but still. Okay.
Do we agree though? What do you think?
I think LA is very, very challenging to date in. Yeah. I think New York is different, but I cannot base my dating life in New York when I was in New York because I was still doing, I was in long distance
like I'm just now getting experience dating for real.
Yeah, I've always only been in long distance relationships. And then the one that became my 8-year, 9-year situation, you know, it was long distance and then became us living together. And that was really different for me too. So,
I mean, how did that work out? That's another podcast.
Well, favorite food?
I don't know. I'm really loving Persian food right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that makes you cry.
Everything. Being on podcasts, talking about my family. Talking about my old websites, all of that. My old life.
Red flag when dating.
Red flag when dating. I just think if someone asks someone on a first date, they should cover the first date. Like the whole arguing over who, like you asked me.
Why is there an argument? First of all, where's the chivalry? This is the South.
Yeah, so.
You shouldn't be paying
so
anyway.
That just doesn't make any sense. I've never had to worry about or dated men that would even be a question. But the fact that it's even a thing, who pays on a first date, is like, it just blows my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. Girl, that would be a red flag for me too.
I mean, I guess anybody that's talking negatively about their ex is a red flag to me.
Oh, we can't date, Necole.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm gonna talk about him. No,
you're so
nothing
silly.
nice, but
you know
great things to say. Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Really?
Yeah, I was just thinking, there's a sneaker hill out now.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
But yeah, sneakers.
Smartest thing you've ever done?
Smartest? Man, every time I left my old businesses, I felt I left them at the right moment before an industry shift or something like that. Like just knowing the timing of when to get off the boat. That's the smartest thing I've ever done. And now the not so smartest, you want to hear that?
Sure, go
Can
for
we
it.
talk about the IRS? But the not so smart thing I've ever done is just starting a business, not even knowing what it entailed. The only reason why I had my first LLC is I went to the bank and the guy was like, "You need a business," and he registered a business there for me, my EIN, and then gave me a business bank account. If it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't have registered a business for years. But I also didn't know anything about, taxes, write-offs, all of that stuff. And so now it's 10 years later and I'm dealing with tax bills from our old life. That's two businesses ago. You know what I mean? So I think that's the not so smart, but I know I'm not the only one either because no one knew.
Yeah.
We were all out here just spending for ourselves in business and figuring it out later.
When you were managing artists at this time, were you in your marriage as well?
Yes, I've been married 29 years now. Yeah, my husband has been a real stud. He has stuck by me through the crazy stuff. And there's been crazy stuff. Johnny and I had a really public fight. As you know, artists are really temperamental. Everything's like highs are highs, lows are lows. And I'm like, you get kind of, when you're on board, you get in the cycle of that along with them. But you know what? Johnny and I were in Vegas last weekend together and I went to go see New Edition, which is like the most incredible show. If you haven't seen it, you have to go see it. He's back actually in November.
Oh, wow.
Let's go together. It was, so we're like, we fight hard, we make up hard, and we're still really good friends.
How is that, being able to juggle such a public relationship in the media and then still be a professional woman at the same time? Because they always say you can't have your family, you can't have your career at the same time, especially businesswomen.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Really?
You can't have it all. People say, oh, you can't have it all. I have this great thing. My relationship had to suffer, and sometimes when I was working 18-hour days, it suffered. And, I maybe going back, I would do some things differently. But the good thing about being in a committed relationship is you ride the waves with each other. He's the president of a Major League Baseball team, and he's had times where he's neglected me. So, and you just kind of make the decision that you're in it together, and you're gonna, like I said, even with the R&B relationships, you ride the highs and you ride the lows. So it hasn't been I can have it all.
If you look at your Instagram, you would think you have it all. You look at your Instagram, first of all, you have the closet, that's for sure. You have the best big Saint Bernard dog in the whole entire world, who I love.
He has been perfect. There's nothing, is there a better gift from God than dogs?
No.
Nothing. It's actually spelled backwards, dog, God.
There you go. I never even thought of it like that.
Best invention. God's best invention.
Never even thought of it like that. And children, you've been able to balance it, but for those outsiders that are looking in, and even being married to a very, very successful man, a baller, like people are always like, I want to marry the millionaire. It's not really the life that it's all cracked up to be.
Like I said, there are no free lunches with anything. Yes, I have an amazing lifestyle, but yeah, there's 180 baseball games a year. So my husband's glued to the TV. Sometimes we can't go out to dinner. He's got you make sacrifices in life, right? It just depends what kind of sacrifice you want to make. Do you want the guy that has no job, that follows you around everywhere and gives you compliments and you're the best, you're the bomb? I wouldn't want that either. So like I said, there's no free lunches, so you have to compromise at some things.
What do you think has been the biggest misconception about marriage when outsiders look in and say, oh, you've been together for 29 years?
There are days where you don't love each other, or you don't want to make it work, but you just kind of have faith in the process and you just keep going. But I have a great husband, you know, it's kind of like this how I look at marriage or relationships or even a friendship, right? There's like, let's say there's 10 things you look for in a spouse, right? If your spouse has 7 out of the 10 things that you really, really value, you're not going to destroy it for the 3 things that that person doesn't have, right? But if they don't have, you know, they only have 3 things you value in life, then you're like, okay, this doesn't work for me. But if, like I said, if they meet mostly, it's not like your spouse can't be everything to you, right? They can't be like the fun person and the complimentary person, the good dad, the good husband. Something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, some days, I think I can't believe I'm saying this. Like somebody fed me truth syrup. Some things I'm like, oh God, he's boring me, or something. You know, he's annoying me. But you know what? He's not chasing women on Instagram. He doesn't follow weirdos, or you know, he's not under people's likes. You know, I'm like, guess what? I could be the spicy one here.
Yeah, I could deal with it.
And he's a great dad and a great provider. So what? I'll be the talent in the relationship.
So when when I asked you that question, I mainly ask it because I hear how you speak about purpose. I hear how you speak about God, destiny, how things are supposed to be, something that you and your wife definitely must share in the household with your children as well. So when do you think was that moment where you woke up and you started training your mind to think that way?
To be honest, I'm gonna give some credit to Pinky, because I feel like, you know, that when they say a man, when you get that good woman, sometimes, you know, when you're alone, when you chasing something, right? You might not even respect what another person may tell you sometimes, because you like, you know, it may be them hating, or they don't understand what you're going through because they never been through it. But when somebody going through what you're going through, it's a different thing, you know, and I respect a lot of stuff that she used to tell me. And you know, and me coming from Philly, our egos and our pride is like totally different. Like I come from a city where it's 600 murders a year. And I made it out of a rough part of Philly. Like I'm from West Philly, and my neighborhood is one of the roughest parts of West Philly, if not the city. And I made it out of there. And me making it out of there ain't looking like, oh yeah, I'm blessed. I want to bless all the people that can watch it to say they have a chance too. And for me, with her, it gave me that different side of it, that feminine side, but it was like that strong. Like she can't be with no weak man. Like she'll run a weak man over. So me and her relationship, we helped each other. It was like she wasn't used to me and I wasn't used to her, but together we made it work, type of thing.
Dating, period, is hard.
Do you feel like your
I'm one bad
expectations are wild?
relationship away from being a lesbian.
Considering a girl.
What?
Absolutely.
It's either considering a girl, or I just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I live by myself, me and my dog. So my expectations are not high, no. No. Like, to even say that is like, you have to set your own boundaries, your own, you know, what you will accept from somebody and what you won't accept. I'll tell you this, my patience is low.
Yes.
I know right away whether I'm going to deal with somebody or not, if this is even worth, you know, a coffee.
Your BS is for someone else. It's not for me.
Yeah. I ain't got time for it. So.
I think that's the evolution of women with money now.
Yeah.
We have made our own way. Therefore, we have expectations.
Listen,
we get to choose.
There's very little that will impress me. I
am unimpressionable.
I've been with rich. I've been with iconic. I've been with amazingly talented. You know, like gifts, trips, all of that stuff. At the end of the day, that's not really what's important. How do you treat me? How do you treat your mom? How do you treat your kids? How do you treat the valet person wherever we pull up?
How do you treat yourself?
How do you treat yourself? What are your standards and morals? And can I bring you home to my mama?
What does your mom want for you?
She wants me to be happy. And I think in the long run, she would feel more secure if I had somebody in my life. And to know that I was good. But I think she has come to a realization that I'm going to make a way and do good regardless if there's somebody in my life.
When your brother talks shit, because it sounds like you guys have like a little competition.
No, it's just like the school thing. But no, I'm really close to my brothers. We don't really talk unless we're playing Monopoly Deal. There's no shit talking between us. We're close like siblings should be.
What do they want for you?
Happiness. We all just want happy. We all stay out of each other's way in business. Yeah, we're not intrusive in each other's lives. But if you mess up, then yeah.
What does Rocsi want? What do you want?
I want this show to be successful. I want to get sponsors so these people can get paid, okay? That's what I want. I want the chair at Good Morning America at GMA3. That's what I want.
What do you want in a partner?
And a partner? At this point, what I want in a partner is somebody who's honest and transparent. This is what you come with. This is what I come with. You know, loyal. I'm not sharing you. I'm just not. If you feel the need to be one of those guys that needs multiple women, you go have that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying not for me. Correct. I'm not going to accept it.
Right.
It's just a sense of security. Someone I can have fun with and actually be myself with. Rocsi is totally different at home than this, you know. So
I was listening to an interview on the way down with the Gottmans who've done research in relationships for 50 years. And they were saying that, God forbid, please ditch the list. Because the list, they said literally we have research that shows when people give us a list, we could literally go pick that exact person out of the data, present them to you, and you would not want them.
Yep.
You wouldn't want them. So do you think the lens is off? Do you think what we look for is wrong? Do you think that like you by chance might have some responsibility or accountability and like, I definitely had a type of man that I thought was that?
My biggest problem in my relationships has been I always go back to the relationships that haven't worked and try to find a way to make them work again.
I don't want to love anyone new again.
I never tried to go outside of what I was already comfortable with knowing. So I didn't try to meet someone new or someone outside of my circle or something like that. I'm more open to that now. But I was in a relationship for like 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Privately.
Yep.
You know? And prior to that, I was working, and any relationship that was worth being talked about or mentioned wasn't talked about or mentioned. It didn't have to. It was nobody's business. And prior to that, I was in a long relationship, you know? So I've always been in long relationships.
These relationships are on Google, by the way.
Right. People assume that I was in all these different relationships that never happened, you know?
Yeah.
But for the last 8-9 years of my life, which is a very long time, you know, I've been really totally committed to someone, although we were on and off and we had our problems, but you know, that's what I was in. Yeah. Now to judge me off of my 20s and, you know.
Being outside.
I was outside. But I also was like in relationships at that time too. So I've always been a relationship girl.
Yeah.
I think after 6 months, you start to let your guard down and show your true colors of who you are. I think at 3 months, Steve Harvey said 3 months for giving away the cookies. I don't know about that. But
a girl has
needs. A girl has needs too. All right, the rose ain't rosing all the time. All right, but
ain't rosing.
But that goes back to recycling. And then you know you recycle, and then maybe this could work or not, but then it doesn't work. Yeah, I think at 6 months is when you can really tell whether this relationship is going to flourish or go. Maybe even in 3 months, you know. I'm not saying, but I say at 6 months time limit, you know whether you're going to be exclusive and you want to continue something and just let it fall wayside. And most of the times it falls wayside before 6 months anyway.